Hi, I'm Leanne and welcome to my kitchen. Today we have got another viewer requested recipe for you. Now, if you love peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, you're gonna love today's recipe because we are making a small batch peanut butter and jelly thumbprint cookies. They are a soft, chewy, peanut buttery cookie that is filled with some sweet jam. These cookies are easy and the perfect treat when you need just a few cookies, not a whole mountain of cookies. So let's get baking. All right, we're going to start by combining 2 tablespoons of softened salted butter. Get that out of there. We're going to use 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar and 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. All right, we're just going to take our hand mixer and cream that together. And then we are going to add in our peanut butter. Now I'm just using Jif creamy peanut butter, but you could use a crunchy peanut butter. You can use a natural peanut butter, whatever you've got in your pantry. And we need a tablespoon and a half. All right. And we're going to mix that in. All right, it should be coming together now nice and soft and creamy. And then we're ready for our egg. Now I have taken 1 whole egg, just popped it in here and beaten it up. So I'm gonna start out with a tablespoon and a half of beaten egg. There is a possibility, depending on sometimes your weather, things like that, you may need just a little bit more. But we'll be able to tell after we mix all this together, our dry ingredients, if it seems too dry and the dough doesn't come together, add in another half of a tablespoon of beaten egg. So I started out with 1.5 tablespoons of beaten egg. And then we also need to add in half of a teaspoon, measured with my heart, of vanilla extract. Right now we're ready for our dry ingredients, and I have got a half of a cup of unbleached all-purpose flour here. We're gonna add in just a pinch of salt. Now, if you've used unsalted peanut butter, you're gonna need to add a little bit more salt, probably about 1/8 of a teaspoon. And then we're gonna use 1/8 of a teaspoon of baking powder and 1/8 of a teaspoon of baking soda. You can see how quick and easy these cookies are to mix together. And then just mix it till the dry ingredients are combined. And this is where you're gonna be able to tell if you need to add a little bit more beaten egg or not. The dough, you want the dough to form just a nice soft ball, and mine came together really nice and easy, so I think I am good. So we are gonna grab a parchment-lined baking sheet and a cookie scoop. Now I can, depending on how big or small you make your cookies, you can get 4 pretty good sized cookies or 6 slightly smaller cookies. I think today we're gonna go for the 6. We're just gonna scoop our dough, and then we wanna just roll it into a nice round ball. And then I've got some granulated sugar in here, and I'm just gonna roll my little dough ball in that and coat all the sides with the sugar. This is a step, if you want, you can skip. It makes them look a little prettier, I think. All right, and then just go ahead and scoop up the rest of your dough. Like I said, it's gonna make anywhere between 4 and 6 cookies. All right, one last cookie. Now, these are called thumbprint cookies because traditionally you then use your thumb to make a hole in them. And that little indentation is where what we're going to use to fill with our jam. But I'm gonna show you a little bit easier because your thumb, although it works, it's a little awkward and sometimes you can press too far down in. So instead, I am gonna grab a round teaspoon, okay? And I'm just gonna use the back of it to press in to my cookie. Now you just wanna make a slight indentation. You don't wanna go all the way through to the bottom of the cookie, just enough that it's gonna hold the jam. Now, one thing too that you can tell if your cookies are too dry or not, when you push down into them, it's okay if they crack just a little bit, but you don't want it to totally crack and fall apart. Then you know that your dough isn't needed a little bit more moisture in it. Now I've preheated my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. We are gonna bake these for just about 8-9 minutes. They're gonna be slightly underbaked, okay? Because then we're gonna pull them out, fill them with our jam, and put them into bake some more. All right, we have baked them. They are slightly underbaked. They need a few more minutes, but they're gonna get that after we fill them with jam. And I'm just taking a little half a teaspoon here, and I'm just use whatever your favorite jam is. I am using raspberry, you can use strawberry, grape, whatever you like. And then we're just gonna take and add a little dollop of jam right in the middle of that cookie. You don't wanna overfill it, because if you do, then your jam's gonna kind of run. It'll still taste delicious, but it won't look quite as pretty. Oh, you can make a bigger indentation if you wanted more jam. You could always also fill these with like a chocolate ganache or a dulce de leche. Now, if you're going to do that, I would totally bake the cookie till it was done, then pull it out, add the chocolate and dulce de leche. There's no need to cook it any further. It's just if you're adding the jam, we're gonna put it back in. We're gonna bake it for another 2 to 3 minutes until that jam looks set. The cookies are baked. I did let them cool on, just right on the baking sheet for 10 minutes. And you can see they're just nice and golden brown on the bottom. The jam is set, and they are just soft and ooey and gooey in the middle. All you have to do is add a tall glass of cold milk, and you have the perfect treat. Tastes just like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but better. Thanks for joining me in the kitchen. If there is a recipe you would like to see made in small batch form, leave me a comment down below. And as always, I appreciate you being here. Turn on notifications, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video.